there's always what we call enabling environment. Very important. There are a lot of things that are hindering development in Benue State, Makurdi in particular. Enabling environment, lack of industries. Industries create value chains that springs up other industries and businesses that do not thrive begin to thrive. So if we have industries, Makurdi was a much more booming town, business thriving town when business was working, and like BBL was working. It was like just BBL as a major industry with a value chain. That is why you see that area called Gadi became just because of BBL. So when we're talking about privatization, we're building a value chain for big industries. Lagos is not, it's not because the guys in Lagos have 10 heads. It's because there are other businesses that makes it impossible for you not to have something to do. There must be a value chain tied to it. For instance, I have a small office here, in business here in Makurdi that my wife runs, that does monograms and all of that. Sometimes in a month, how many people come to do that? But when you go to Lagos, you have Pepsi, you have Coca-Cola, you have all of those. These are corporate organizations that there are more than 50 monogram offices, businesses in Lagos that are all overstressed with work. Because why? But my own will not function here because there's nothing to tie. It's only politicians, people who are doing weddings, and what's the quantity. But corporate industries in Lagos, because of the environment, industrial environment, at the port alone, the Apapa port alone, there are more than 2 million different businesses that are generated from the port. So the environment that Apiraku created, hotels, he set up the charity hotel. Why? Because there was a Taraku mill. Why? Because there was a Benue cement. Why? Because there was an Otupo pond brick. So people will come in to do business. And people coming into business will have to sleep in good hotels. He had only rated all of these things. But once the Taraku mill was no longer functional or could not run, Otupo pond bricks is dead. Benue breweries it has been sold and dead completely. It's not even functional. And all of this died. Who now will come and pay 25,000 naira for a single room in Makurdi, in a 5-star hotel of a Sheraton standard? Who? It's only the man who comes to do that kind of business that makes that kind of returns. So even the hotels in Makurdi, they're struggling because their income is not commensurate to the expenditure. Overheads are higher. The bills they pay to the electrical companies and diesel is higher than what comes in. Because where are the people? It's only people that come home for burial, people that come home for weddings, or which Makurdi man will leave his own quiet house and go and pay 5, 10 to 20,000 to sleep in a room. You understand? So these businesses fail because we have not upped our game. We have not set the environment for these businesses to fail. It does not necessarily mean that when these companies are privatized and are run by competent hands with the necessary right supervision from government, the remaining government rights in it that are supervised well, they will also run down because it's not the environment. It's a kind of, there's always a mothership that bets smaller ships. We don't have any of that. How many people can fly into Makurdi? There's an airport with about the longest airstrip in Nigeria. No commercial flight comes in here because nobody's coming here to do business. How much are you coming here to come and gain that you'll be able to pay a return ticket of 50,000? You want to fly to Abuja or fly from Abuja to Makurdi to come and do what business? Where you can use 3,000 and enter Benue links and come, and then you are paying return ticket 50, 60,000. What you see, the whole thing is about business. The enabling environment has not been created, and the enabling environment, the infrastructure for the enabling environment must be created by government. There must be good schools. How many schools are good schools do we have in Benue? Good schools. There are some states in the southwest. I think there's one town, Owo. It's not for just good schools. The tourism into Owo is just for good schools. What good schools do we have here apart from Vatia College in Makurdi? How many people outside of Benue State go to to school in Princess Adeja in Boko. It's only the guys who believe in Bula Canada go to cavalry arrows out of Benue. That go to cavalry arrow are tied based on faith and religion, not because it is better than the schools in Abuja. So something must draw people into town. Something must draw people. Boko was a hub, a heavy business hub because BCC. Everybody was moving into Boko because of BCC. So something must draw people. There's no hub. I said in the last discussion, I said, Makurdi is sitting on the bank of River Benue. That's a lot of money. Chain of hotels should be on the bank of River Benue. And the infrastructure must be given by the government. Infrastructure, roads, electricity, drainages, open up the bank of River Benue and give it out. And you see businesses will start springing up. There's security, or rather insecurity. The lack of security is another thing that drives businesses away. In other places we are pretending, some people even hide. But you know, our governor is now the Vuvuzela of Fulani. How are you shouting that I expect them to come here? You can go to all of the world and tell them of how beautiful Benue is. Nobody will come here because you are the one telling that Benue is insecure. The people you ought to discuss with to bring about security are the people you have given them an ethnic profile in the negative. So businesses can come. You are driving businesses away. Somebody, I was driving from Abuja to Makurdi. A guy told me I'm taking off late. He said, Makurdi, the Fulani is everywhere. They're killing people. You can't come there. These are businesses. People have, you know.